The family-friendly show that started a simple superstar status gold and silver shop, world-famous gold and silver pawn shop. The mecca of pawn shops is one of the biggest draws in the Vegas Strip. Also, without getting anything to pawn, thousands visit it every day anyway. Pictures of the sign, the window, and even the guys are common assets that any fan of Pawn Stars would love to put on. Not to mention all the products they sell. Given the bathing of the store and all this sparkling adoration, there are some darker corners that no one wants to explore. We've gathered 10 of the darkest secrets about Pawn Stars that producers probably don't want you to know about. Shh, don't tell anyone. Number 10. The show's production hinders shop business. Take a ride to Gold and Silver the next time you're walking around Las Vegas. You might get inside if you're lucky. Almost always, a line stretches out the entrance. When you have a show as famous as Pawn Stars that has to do with a real-world venue, people would want to check it out. There's a lot going on inside Gold and Silver, and people want to see it. Since Vegas is already a tourist destination, a lot of tourists will crowd into the store to try to get a glimpse of the stars of the show. Owing to the shop's success, less real business is brought into the shop. Fortunately, this hasn't forced them to close their doors, but over the years they have taken a hit. Number 9. They were sued for melting down gold coins. The Harrisons didn't call their store Gold and Silver because they thought they'd get their hands on one any day. The jewelry and coin trade is the bulk of theirs and almost all the profits of pawn stores. There are rules on what can be stolen, burned, and messed with when it comes to pawned and sold items, but the rules are different when it comes to gold coins, which caused Rick and the gang to have a serious problem. In 2014, the store took a huge pile of $12,375 worth of gold coins. Because the laws in Nevada don't require them to wait the normal 30 to 90 days before they can do anything with the coins, they melted them down. Unfortunately, the proper owner found out about the act and sued the store. Regrettably for the coin maker, the law had not been on his side. Their friends are brought onto the show by producers. You ever note how they always have an expert that they can call whenever something very unusual comes into the shop? As we said, because of the producers who engineer it all, they're on hand. But what you might not know is that the producers recruit them all into the series. Essentially, a shop friend is someone identified by the manufacturing company and brought in to help out whenever possible. Granted, the guys have been friends with most of these people, so it's not actually incorrect to call them a pal, but their presence on the show is not due to any long-standing relationship. They're not being paid for their work either. Everybody who comes onto the show to offer their skills does so to promote their own companies. Although that does sound cheap for the creators, each of them have greatly benefited from their on-show experience. Number 7. The Pawn Stars don't actually work in the shop anymore. You'd be mistaken if you thought these guys were really working in the shop on a regular basis as it's portrayed on the show. Chumlee, Rick, Corey, and the Old Man are all wealthy celebrities whose presence in the show is needed solely for the purpose of filming the show, which isn't done daily. Just being in the store has become a challenge for Rick and the gang because of their celebrity status. People are still coming up to them in hopes of having selfies taken or autographs signed, which they're happy to do for the most part, but this deters both the daily business and the show shooting. If you want to go down by the shop and meet some of the stars, you'll need to check in advance what days they would be running there. Number 6. They were sued by a Vietnam veteran for assault. Callahan demanded $20,000 in the suit, claiming that he was injured, his can was damaged, and that the rifle he brought to be appraised was also damaged in an incident. Corey came to his father and grandfather's defense, claiming Callahan was completely furious with a knife in his side. Because of his attitude, you can't blame the guys for tossing him out, so it does make sense to keep the whole affair private. Number 5. Corey and Chumlee have personal assistants. Through all that has happened, both Chumlee and Corey have personal assistants that do much of their grunts and gophers jobs. It's probably not the usual repertoire when you see Chum doing something on his show. He would usually just send an assistant to do it. Again, this type of realism coming to light takes a little more away from the show's appearance. Though owning and running a pawn shop, these guys have moved up in the world. Number 4. The Pawn Plaza is not doing well financially. As the success of the series continues to grow, Rick has done what Rick does best. He's expanded. If you've ever been to Gold and Silver Pawn Stop, you've probably seen Pawn Plaza, an attached sorts mall that features everything from a donut store, Rick's Roll and Smokes, Inagata di Pizza, and a variety of other non-restaurants. The cigarette shop, pizza shop, and donut shop have all closed their doors by August of 2016. Some of the tenants complained about the property management, and Rick took a lot of heat over the tenants who left. Because of the loss of retail income from the shops who have left Pawn Plaza, Rick has introduced some serious vetting in the hopes of ensuring his potential tenants stay to make the place profitable. Number 3. Chumlee cost the shop $20,000 $10,000 once by breaking stuff. Part of the beauty of Chumlee revolves around his distinct childish disposition and utter inability to do the job properly. He's clumsy, and from time to time he appears to break things. Shortly before the first episode aired, Chumlee was costing $20,000 to the shop when he mistakenly broke a base for $700 that somebody pawned at the store. By pawned, we say it was pawned, not sold, and the owner wanted to go back and get his item back. After breaking the base, Chumlee stored the pieces back in the box and left it there, hoping I guess that nobody would notice. When the owner returned to retrieve his item and refund with cash, Rick had no choice but to return the entire value of the lost item. Somehow Chumlee still has a job, which only goes to show that friendship with an owner and his son does help you when you do something monumentally stupid. Number 2. Olivia Black worked on the show until some photos surfaced. Olivia Black was brought into the night shift to work their shop early in the series, and Chumlee was quickly attracted to her. That's not shocking, she's an attractive woman, but for history, this is also a bit of an issue. You see, Black once posted news for a tantalizing set of shots for Suicide Girls. History pulled the plug on her appearances on the show after these images came to light, which the shop and the series took some flack for. What most people don't know was that Black wasn't fired from her work at Gold and Silver, but only from being on the show. After all, it is a family program, and because of these pictures, that wouldn't have been enough to fire her from her work. She didn't do anything wrong, but she did have a reputation to uphold for the History Channel. Number 1. They trade in stolen goods. That is a little bit misleading, to be honest. All pawn shops will take in stolen goods at some point, given the tremendous attempts they make to prevent doing so under state and local laws and regulations. They brought in some stolen gold, as mentioned before, and melted it down before the owner could get a hand on it, but they had that happen several times. This sort of thing does seem to happen more often than not, but in one episode, the guys brought a 2,000-year-old Tyrian shekel, a coin most historians assume would have been sold to Judas for the infamous 30 pieces of silver. A detective arrived at the shop and informed them that the coin was stolen, but they were able to keep it since the original owner had been compensated by his insurance policy. Did we miss any dark secrets of Pawn Stars that you might have heard? Let us know in the comments down below.